Hey, doing that stream. Hey. So we're just setting up some stuff. Alright, so that's feedback. We don't want that. Let's do that. Fun. Alright, so I was looking at ways to set up capturing, and maybe okay, so yeah, I'm in the process of trying to figure out how to stream my audio through I'm using a tool called OBS so that this audio kind of segment of the stream will actually, be worthwhile. um, and every time I look into a way to do that, it just seems to want to work, or it gives me like super feedback. And by me super feedback, I mean probably you. And I'm still trying to figure out how to do that and how to resolve that properly. Anyone that's got some tips, I'm down for down for fixing that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so last stream, which was yesterday, we got audio working. However, there was a bug, and I've resolved it. And I kind of resolved it in a way that I don't like, but I do like at the same time. So initially, what was happening here is we do an automatic connect. Oh wait, no, this seems wrong. I'm pretty sure I fixed this. Unless I somehow went back. Okay, let me double check that I'm doing what I think I'm doing. Okay, so starting a track is connecting. So this is technically wrong. So let's do that, and this should be a after that. It should be source.start 0. And then it shouldn't be there because that's just part of the load track. So, okay, I was just doing this slightly wrong. All right, so what's happening now? So instead of connecting right away, we start playing it in memory right away, and then we connect and disconnect it from actually outputting to speakers, and that's actually kind of handy. I think it's gonna do mostly the right thing. And the reason that it's handy is there'll be multiple pages that share the exact same audio source. And it wouldn't make a lot of sense that basically you navigate to a new page and then it restarts the audio. So, so yeah, now that works. However, as you see, I'm on about blank because as soon as I hit the page, the audio starts. And we probably want to fix that because, yeah, we definitely don't want audio just to play automatically. And I think we also want the ability to stop the audio. So, I think the easiest way to do that is going to be suspend audio. And we're going to need our state. And also resume audio. And we probably need, I don't know if audio actually gives us that data. Let's just see. Alright, so we have our audio context. And when we suspend, what happens when we suspend? Okay, not much, so it looks like we might have to be tracking this ourselves. I was pretty sure that there's a way to get the state without doing the event callbacks, but that's okay. So let's just do a audio playing, which will be true by default. And down here we also want to do a set audio playing. Except spelt way better. There we go. Cool, 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 cool. Right, and suspend audio, we're going to do something like state.audio.suspend. Then we need to call our action. Set audio playing. That'll be a false. And then inversely, pretty sure the function is just called resume. This will be true. And then we can also add a little bit of helper stuff here. So if state.audio playing. So if it's already playing, we do an early exit. And then with suspend, if it's not playing, then return because it's already not playing, there's nothing more to suspend. Yeah. So I think that's going to work. And you see, I think at this point we end up with a bit of a header component, which maybe we can make a little better as well. So this would be if state.audio playing. Then we want to have a yeah, we'll keep doing it like that. I really like plating. I don't know why I like to spell it that way. But, yeah, pardon me. Let's see where this goes. So, well, button, and the type is a button. Actually, let's multi-line this. And on click, we're going to want to do something to the extent of actions dot, so this is if we're playing, then we want to do a suspend if we're playing. Yeah, I guess just pause audio. And here, if it's not, which I guess we could actually we could chain it this way. This this seems really awful, and maybe we can make it a little better. So if the audio is playing, let's actually use a ternary. That's a way better use than ands and ors. And this would be resume audio. Cool. So I'm going to see if it works. Unfortunately, you will not. You'll just have to trust me. Alright, so that's definitely going. And let's just pull that open. Cool, that worked. However, now I see both buttons, which I shouldn't. Oh, right, because I had this and I didn't remove it. So let's do that. Alright, so the audio started again. Pause it. Alright, and we have broken it. Okay, so maybe one of these two isn't firing off that action properly. So we could maybe do this, set audio playing. One day I'll be able to spell. And we'll just need to write that debug function really fast. And this would be value. Cool, so pause it, set it to false, play it, set it to true. Oh, you know what this could be? This could be a keying issue. So let's just do a key, we'll call it mute, and this key is going to be play. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, so when we suspend, so what I'm guessing is happening is, maybe that's not, but it is firing. And it's audio playing in both cases. Oh. So sometimes promises can swallow the exception. And I'm guessing maybe hyperapp is doing something. Well, we're not returning that though, so weird. Okay, but anyway, pause, play, pause, play. Cool. So that works. And there's one more thing we're going to want to do. And that is, when we pause or play, we probably want to persist that in between page reloads, because there's nothing more annoying than saying you want to mute, but then you have to refresh the page for some reason, and then it kicks back in. So I think as part of setting that, we're gonna have to build this out a little bit more. So let's return that. Alright, so set audio playing, and then we probably want to do something like local storage. Set item, and we could call this the clock audio. You know, maybe we'll do this. JSON.stringify audio playing. Alright, so that works, and which also means that we probably want to do a few things. So storage key is going to be what? The clock. And we're just going to go to here. Use that, and then we'll also do a get as part of our initial state. And this will be local storage. Get item, storage key. Actually, this would be a. Let's see, this would be audio playing. It's going to equal some stuff, and this would be settings, I guess. Local storage get item storage key. And this will be if we get settings, JSON parse it. Actually, I guess this will be settings data, and then this will be settings. And I guess audio playing here would be true as default. Sorry, it's a little tough for me to think and do this while this music is also going on, but that's okay. We're gonna get this sorted out. Okay, so I guess on top of that, we need to pass some data in to audio context. So this might just get a little bigger, which is perfectly okay. Okay, so it's going to be that, and this will be new audio context class. Cool. And this could also take in settings, maybe, and then our params, and that way we could do something like if settings dot audio playing is exactly false, then instance dot suspend. That's not too bad, and it mostly works the exact same way. But now we can just toss in settings there. Cool. So I'll pause it. Audio play. Yeah. Audio play. Let's see. Obviously messed up a reference somewhere, like this guy. Cool. So we pause it. Reload the page. Did not persist. Okay. So let's see what's going on. So after this we could do something like, oh. I'm actually surprised that didn't cause an issue. That should have been an issue. Hey, cool, now it works. If I do play, restart, cool, it's playing, pause it. There we go. Yes, that went away. That's cool. We do new game and everything's still fine. Give up. Cool. We made it happen. So there's a few things that I was thinking that we could do with this, depending on how I feel like doing it. So one would be that we could do a preload, so we load up all of the audio at the beginning and do like a loading spinner or some sort of progress. That just means that all the audio is available right away, because right now it's kind of being played on demand, which locally, like, that's cool. It's like instant. However, not locally, I don't know what sort of hit that's going to be. Actually, I guess we could do something like, let's see, under network, I think we can do like a slow 3G. And if I refresh this and do a play, oh, that was actually pretty quick. So why was that so fast? Because I was under the impression that it wouldn't be. Oh, well, I guess it's like super tiny. So yeah, that's cool if that's the case. Okay, so if I close that and we just kind of inspect it here, so this WAV file is like 181 bytes. Okay, so I guess for the time being, I'm not going to implement the preloader. Although maybe as part of today's episode, we can maybe just toss this on Firebase, and that'll give me a better idea about latency. Ah, coffee. So good. Yeah, let's see, how far are we in? We're in 20 minutes, so that's not too bad. So we got the suspend audio and persisting some data. I don't think there's any other data that we'd really want to persist. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. So let's save that up. And we have the different tunes wired up. So play uses the faster paced track. And let's see what other. Yeah, well, let's see where we're at. So new game. So yeah, let's know to start. You can type in some stuff. This is actually a pretty bad interface. Like, type down there, it's not really obvious. I think maybe we need to type it in up top here. The audio is pretty good though. It's a little over the top for like while I'm streaming though, but it's good and stressful. Okay, so I think maybe we can do a little bit of UI cleanup and maybe look at doing some deployment stuff. So let's see if I were to look in here. Just want to see if I had a build script, which I don't. I do have some tests apparently ready to go. I'm actually curious if I don't think we wrote many tests, but I guess we wrote a few. Yeah, okay. Alright, well let's, we'll do some UI stuff, I think, first. So I'm going to bring in Stylus. So Stylus is a CSS preprocessor that's like akin to Sass. Yeah, Sass, Less, Post CSS, those sort of things. The one thing I like about Stylus is it lets me be incredibly lazy and type the bare minimum to get any style up and running. Which, I don't know, maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. But we'll bring it in. Yeah, so let's add that to our development flow, and that'll be Stylus. Then we need a few loaders to do that, so there's a Stylus loader, which gets chained to a CSS loader, which gets chained to a style loader. That's the typical Webpack flow. So you'll have like your preprocessor has a loader, but then because it's CSS, it needs to go through the CSS loader, which I'm not sure what the CSS loader actually does, like in comparison to the style loader. But the style loader injects it into the head, so then it's available, to your app. Yeah, I guess like I could do some queries to see where post CSS is coming in, because maybe the CSS loader automatically does a little bit of that magic for us. Anyway, so cool, we got that, and we can add that to our config. Cool, so let's add style files, and that is going to use loaders, multiple, and we are going to do stylus loader, CSS loader, style loader. Cool, and that's all going to be inlined, I think. Cool, so let's make this homepage look really any degree better. Anything's better than what it looks like right now. So I'm gonna inline these for now, I have mixed feelings about it, but that's what we're doing for now, and we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, and I guess I gotta start the server up again too. Not a big deal. Okay, one more time. I was a little preemptive on that enter. Cool, so that's loading up, and we'll just kind of pull that to the side. And I guess before we write any styles, let's just sync this through a little bit. Alright, so we have our game menu. And that's probably all we need. In fact, we could do this by an ID and do like some imperative styles. I have mixed feelings. Yeah, okay. We're not going to do that. We're going to do this the mostly right way. Alright, so this is going to be our main menu, maybe is the better term. In fact, we could call it the home menu. Yeah, that's not too bad, because then it also kind of denotes what page it's on. Alright, and we're going to do some BEM style names. BEM, if you don't know, is a convention for naming components based on whether or not they're like based on their relationship. So there's some like blurred lines, but the convention is use double dash for like a modifier and double underscore for like a child component. So for instance, this could be something like home menu item active or something like that. So as you could guess, these get very long. And actually, I'll have like a plug. I wrote a library a long time ago to deal with BEM class names, and it's not too bad, but it's probably awful by my current coding standards. But yeah, we'll leave it there. But if someone's interested, I'm sure they could find it. Cool. So we've got our menu items and our links, which I believe just back onto anchors. So I think we could do something like this. Menu item link. My apologies. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. And we'll just update these as well. And this definitely seems like we've got like a repeated pattern here. That would be pretty easy to clean up. So we might do that while we're here. All right, so yeah, let's do that cleanup right now. You know what? We'll toss this in the state. I don't think that's really the right place for it, but maybe. All right, so we have a name, which in this case is going to be new game, and path. Maybe 2, because I kind of link to. Let's do link to. So that's not too bad. So we got the name of the menu item and the link to, which corresponds to the link to attribute. Alright, so we got new game, we have view scores, which is going to go to scores. And what else do we have? Oh, I guess just credits. And then we could do something like state.menu.map_item. And so far for our like key IDs, our name is going to always be unique. There wouldn't be a case where we'd have a menu item that has the same name as another menu item. That's really horrible menu design. So I think we can get away with this. And then do a key equals item.name. And this will be item.link2. And item.name here. Cool, and that still works. And now we only have to change one of these things as we style them. So that works for me. Alright, so we have home menu is our root. So let's do home menu. And then we also have an item. And an item has a link. So that's our structure. So if you do Sass, this is going to look really, really familiar. And if you don't, then you're probably really confused. Stylus is an indent-based opt-in style sheet, so I could make this look much more CSS-y, or at least much more sassy. Hey! I'm sorry, that's probably not an appropriate joke. I don't know. I don't know. If people are offended, they can talk to me. I'm not a terrible person. I don't think so. Alright, yeah, so we have our links, our menu items, and so my initial thought is that we definitely don't need a list, so we could do a list style, and that could be none. So hey, looks like stylus we don't need colons, because, you know, who needs colons? Oh man, I'm on a bad stream of jokes. Probably just need more coffee. That sounds right. Cool. So, yeah, let's import this. So we could import home.style. And this should magically update and pull in our style sheet, maybe. Unless I did it wrong. What's going on here? Build module failed with an unknown word. Okay, let's back that up a little bit. And maybe double check our webpack config as well, because I have been known to do crazy stuff. Yeah. Ends with .style. So I think that's going to fix it for us. So let's refresh. Nope. Var content. If content is a string, then do some magic. Okay. So this seems like good. So we don't care about loading in any styles from node modules. We want to include things that are in source. And we want to use those. So let's, I'm going to double check this stylus loader. I just did this on another project, so I'm quite certain that this is correct. But I've been known to be incredibly wrong. And that's okay. Okay, so let's see. So we got a style loader from CSS from stylus. So this is the inverse of that, which I believe is correct. You can also use stylus plugins by adding an extra stylus. Oh, I see. I don't care about plugins. And what version of Webpack are we on? Maybe we're just doing something strange. So if I do yarn bin Webpack -v 311. So usage important. In order to have ability to use any stylus package version, it won't be installed automatically, so it's required. Oh, okay. Yeah, totally, that's fine. And we definitely don't want Webpack 1. Okay. Alright, so maybe it doesn't like me doing import syntax, which I was pretty sure I did in a very separate project, but let's rule this out at least. Module failed to build unknown word. Alright, well let's back this up a little bit before we get too crazy. And let's just add in a CSS loader. In which case we can just do that, and we still need a string and comment that out temporarily. And here we'll just rename this to CSS. So I don't know why it's being weird with that file, but Okay, so bring that in. We got home.css, and maybe we could just do a list style none, and then we'll just do a yarn start so it sees the new config. It still doesn't like that. What is going on? This is unprecedented. Okay, so required double bang. Okay, so if it's doing a double bang like that, then my best guess is that the loaders is incorrect, which I believe we can optionally use like a use. Nope. Okay, let's just make sure I'm not absolutely crazy. Using tandem with style loader. Is there any documentation for this on Webpack 3, which I'm quite certain I've done? In fact, let me just double check in a very separate project, which I'm going to do off screen because I can't remember if it's work or not. I just got all this stuff up in my head, and I know some of these things where they are, and other times I don't, so I just want to confirm what's going on. Okay, so just gonna investigate a file here. Oh, well, apparently we can just use loader. So I was under the impression that it was pluralized, but maybe it's not. Webpack. I love it. It's so granular, but also it's not. Also, my wife is using the oven, and mistakes were made, so I apologize. There's going to be some beeping in the background for a few moments. Okay, so maybe we'll try manually injecting in the right stuff here. So let's go into home, and we'll just do a bang CSS. Maybe that's going to be enough. Oh, I see. So see CSS loader. See the effective processed URLs. I see. So CSS loader, what it's doing is it's looking for URLs that are also webpacky, and then tries to line up the resources properly. Okay, well that's good. And then I think this would be like style. Oops. style, and I'm gonna just do the dash loader all the way through, and I don't think we need that there. Cool, so let's let's try that. One day we'll have a nice oven in my house, and then you won't have to deal with that in the background. Okay, let's do that, refresh this. So, I still don't know why it's doing this, like, so it's definitely using the loaders, so CSS loader, style loader, it's using the CSS loader twice. Okay, let's go back to import. Alright, this is driving me nuts because this is not a hard thing, and I've done this more times than I can count. Did I miss like a dependency? Am I crazy? Okay, so we have style loader 02. So let me just look at some of my other projects once again, and we'll figure out why and what is different. Oh, I see in this other project I used SAS. That shouldn't matter. So the CSS loader is basically the same version, and style loader is basically the same version as well. Okay. I can check out my debugger, which I also very sure I'm using stylus in that. I sure am, and stylus is 54.5, stylus loader is 301, and we have 302 there. Okay, and do I have something different in like the config? I'm really sorry, this this is not nearly as exciting as the sort of stuff I wanted to be doing. Okay, so in that one I'm using, alright, so we're gonna make our config look like the other one, so let's go back to the style loader. And I'm just gonna skip the include altogether, because that's mostly implicit. Alright, so what do we have for that? So we have style loader. Oh, okay, so the issue is I had these reversed. So that's fun. Okay, so that makes so much sense. So it was just piping backwards, just is not possible that way, and I totally get it, and I don't know, sometimes you forget the order of things. Oh. And now it's trying to load the CSS, which totally makes sense that wouldn't be working very well, because we don't have a loader for it. And apparently, naming this home.css removes the highlighting from home.js. I don't have a good reason for that, but I'll accept it. Alright, so let's refresh this. Oh my goodness, we're living in the future. Cool, so now we've got our menu, which has some default padding on it. So let's just, we'll just jump into this all together here. And let's do a padding of 0. And hey, we can get rid of some of this stuff now. And refresh this. My wife is a good cook, by the way. We just have a super sensitive fire alarm. It is the most frustrating fire alarm in the world. And our oven, just I don't know if it's on like a super hot setting. I don't have a good reason, why it always goes off. It is clean. We're not that messy of people, I don't think. But yeah, life, I guess. Okay, so yeah, I think we could do maybe a margin. So on the top, we could do something like, I don't know. I don't even know. Let's do 100 pixels, and left and right can be auto, and we can set a width of, I don't know, 300 pixels. And that's going to center that ish. And we could also do a text align center. Yeah, I got some CSS habits. These things happen. Okay, not terrible. And I think we probably want to do like, I don't know, line height of like 1.5. Give that a little bit of space. Actually, maybe we want to do that with margins. I think this is a better job for margins, so let's go with that. Cool, so we get an item. And maybe this has a margin on the top, which is going to be, I don't know, 10 pixels, and we don't care about left and right because it's centered. Bam. Cool. And maybe this could be padding. So the nice thing about it being padding, well, there's lots of reasons why it's nice, but with padding, it means that we can encompass that area well, and then we could do a margin of, I don't know, 5 pixels 0, which means we can turn these into almost button-like things, which maybe the item is not the right place for that, but maybe the link is. Cool, and what if we set, I don't know, display block. There we go. And we just so you can see what's going on. So if we had 1 pixel black solid. Hey, this is starting to look more like a menu. And that whole area is clickable because it's hooking onto the link properly. So that's not too bad. And what if we did an active state? We should do like a background color of, for now we'll use, this one's my favorite color. This is the best debug color I've ever come up with, which is like crazy magenta, burns your eyes. It's not good, but yeah, I don't know. It's fun. And then what if we did a menu index? Maybe active menu name. Let's go with that. And so new game would obviously be a good start. Good place to start it. Which means that now we get some actions. Alright, and we'll probably actually end getting this front page a little nicer. Yeah, so I guess this will also need to do something like... Oh, no, we'll just do active. So I was going to add in a hover, which would look something like this. However, I think we can maybe just add an event, which won't be too bad. So we could do a on mouse over. Yeah, not too bad. And I think we need some other stuff, so we have an on create here, and on destroy, and maybe we can do something like, let's see, so this could be, yeah, just create, why not, which is going to take, probably a bunch of things, oh maybe not. So create really cares about start track and load track. And do we care about any other data? Not really. Not yet anyway. So let's move this in. And we're still gonna need that. This will be actions.create, load track, start track. Cool. But we probably want to do a few things. So we want to add some event handlers. And what our event handlers are going to do, actually, do we need event handlers? Not really. Not really. Okay, so what we want to do is, no, we do. We want, I think we want keyboard events. That sounds like the right sort of thing. Which means that we probably want to set an autofocus. So off the top of my head, I don't remember what autofocus looks like, but we could do something like MDN HTML autofocus. Is that only for inputs? I guess so. Gross. Okay, so let's see, we do technically get an element in here, and we could say on create get the first link element. Seems like the wrong thing though. Okay, so maybe we won't autofocus that. Where does the autofocus get us to anyway? So if I click in here, once this loads, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. Alright, so we'll just let that be empty for right now. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. I got distracted. And then you look away for 1 second, and yeah, you're off. These things happen though. Oh, right, I wanted to see where the tab index goes, so it takes me to play audio first, and then to the links. Okay, well that's not too bad. And then we can do shift tab to go back up, which is obviously really terrible. So let's finish this up, and then we'll make that less terrible. So we need stop track. I have mixed feelings about this pattern, but it's not that bad though. Cool, so we load up our track and do some stuff asynchronously, but we don't really care. Yeah, so we'll add in some events. So we want to, we care about key up and key down. I guess this would be document add event listener. Probably just key press actually. So we get a key press, and then we get an event, which I guess we really want to load that into our current set of actions that are wired. So we could do state actions here. This would be actions dot. Maybe I'll just call this handle key press. Key press. Why not? Why not? And then I think we need a false there to prevent some sort of event propagation. I'm really stretching my memory for that, but yeah, just give me 1 second here. Cool. Alright, so I guess we need to create that key press, which is going to take in our event, and we probably need to know our current state. Yeah, I think just the current state, and then we keep going there. And we want to inversely do remove the handler, and we don't care about that. And on top of that, now we care about getting in, we need to ignore state, and we get actions. Cool. And just for fun, let's do a console.log e.key. And we'll just make sure that event handler is actually being wired upright. Alright, so pressing up, nothing's happening, down, nothing's happening. Is it document.body event listener? I think it's .body. Let's go with that. Okay, so up, down, no. Oh. Okay, so it does not get arrow keys. That's fun. But okay, so let's do key down, maybe? Okay, and then there we go. Yay! And here we're going to want to do current index, which is going to be like state dot menu dot find index. Item dot name is state dot menu. What did I call that variable? Active menu name. Cool, so get our current index, and then this will be next index is going to be current index plus 1 modulo of state.menu.length. So this is a nice little hack, so you can keep adding 1, it's going to wrap itself around once it hits the length minus 1. So if I had 6 and if 6 was the length of the menu array and I currently had an index of 5 and I did a plus 1, it would loop back to 0. This I actually learned way back in the day of QBasic. Shout out to my roots. I don't think anyone currently listening to this or that will ever listen to this really cares about QBasic. But yeah, cool language. Anyway, so here we want to know if we're going up or down, I guess. So this would be increment. Oh, actually, this will be a fun little test. So if we did a 0 minus 1 modulus 6, we should get a 5, but we don't. Dun dun dun. Okay, so that's actually gonna be a dampener on my plans a little bit, but increment, not really. I guess this would be just change amount. Be if e dot key is arrow up triple equals. Then we want to do -1, otherwise +1. Ooh, not otherwise. That'll be completely wrong. What's the best way to handle this? Let's actually change this a little bit. So what if we did a switch e.key, and this will let us kind of do our menu a little better anyway. So when we have arrow up, we know we're doing a -1, and then we could do something like, this is temporary, but this will be our next index is going to be current index is 0. If that's the case, then we want it to be state.menu.length -1. Otherwise, it'll be current index -1. So not horrible, definitely not great, considering our arrow down is, so let's just add in a break there just so we can see what we're doing. But here we're gonna have const next index is current index +1 modulo state menu.length. So obviously that's, well, maybe it's a little more cryptic to read, but it's also shorter to read. I guess it really depends if you're familiar with modulo or not. I don't know. Some people are. Yeah, but let's do a. See, I think we need another action. Do we? I don't need to be that lazy. Next index is going to be current index, and break it up this way. Okay, and then we'd have something like return active menu name is going to be state.menu next index.name. And I really don't like this because now we also have this complicated solution of find index. So I guess we can do active menu index, oops, which then defaults to 0. I also don't like it because now it's way less descriptive, but it makes it easier to deal with in code, and maybe that's a good thing. And this totally seems like we could do something like that, and that, and we don't really care about that anymore. In which case this becomes a let active menu index equals state. And because the key name and the variable are the same name, we can just do that. And since it's only one item, might as well one line it. So that's a little better. Other than, yeah, we totally need to fix this. So we have our current index, which is now active menu index. And same here. So I'm not a big fan of this is doing a mutation, but it's within a scope at least, so it's not like we're mutating anything that's shared. Yeah, I don't know. Cool, so let's change this up a little bit then. So we always want to have this. I guess maybe it makes sense to do it this way. And we optionally want to concat, which then I guess we're back to having the index here. And by back, I mean we didn't have this before, but I kind of wanted to avoid it. Not a big deal though. Cool, so if this is the active, then we want to concat in home menu item active, and otherwise an empty array. So doing a concat with an empty array results in nothing. For instance, if I have test concat empty, nothing happens. But if you have an array inside an array, then it actually injects that blank array. But in this case, it's just an empty, so that's going to do, I think, exactly what we want. Cool. And so obviously our active isn't working. Otherwise, I would expect this. Oh no, it is working. But it is also not working at the same time. So why is that? Are we putting it on the wrong thing? Oh yes, yes, this looks like the wrong thing. But it totally seems like that's where it should be. Because it's the item that's active and not necessarily the link. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. Alright, so now that is supposedly in the right spot. Oh, and on top of that, after our concat, we need to do a join with spaces. Hey, cool. And now if I click down, oh yeah. So there's another thing I was thinking, which is that the looping behavior that I have isn't really correct, right? Like when I press up here, I don't really expect to go down to credits, and when I go down from credits, I don't expect to go up to new game. So we can probably simplify this a little bit, and it's going to make our life much easier, maybe. So we'll do a few refactor steps, because I think that we can make this work. So when we go up, we really want a math.max active menu index -1 and 0, because we cannot go below the number 0, so this will ensure that 0 is always present if we go lower. And going down, instead of this loop, we could have active menu. Actually, let's copy that. This time a math min of state menu length -1. Cool, so what if we had a clamp index, which takes in our index, and we did a math.max, and then a math.min. So the max number that we want to use is going to be 0. And this one is going to be state.menu.length -1. And this is going to be our index. So now it's going to clamp and do the right thing. So what if, I'm saying what if a lot, but clamp index. This should be a +1. Cool, so these look quite similar now. So we could potentially do a const index change, and that's going to be e.key is equal to arrow up. So if it's an arrow up, then we want to do a -1, and otherwise, oops, we want to do e.key is arrow down. So if it's an arrow down, then we want to do a 1, and otherwise we just do no change. So sure looks to me like we could do something like this now, and now we don't have any mutations, and that's going to be mostly correct. And now we just need index change. Cool, so let's see, did we break it? Nope. Now it works as expected, so I can keep pressing down, and we don't go down, and I can press up, and that works as expected. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. And I guess we kind of care about the enter key as well, so maybe we could do something like Let's see, what's the best way? Well, I guess we know what they link to already, so we could just wire in the router directly. So if e.key is, I'm guessing it's going to be enter. So we could return early here. And this could do something along the lines of router.push and then state.menu state.active menu index.link to. So that might work. So let's give that a shot. We'll go down to credits and press enter. And we get an error. Reference router isn't defined. Yeah, it makes sense. Oh right, we actually have access to I think Go is the let's see. Yeah, we have an action called Go. So I'm gonna remove that for right now. We're gonna come back to that though. And let's see, so we're on key press, so we need a way to carry that key press through. So the easiest way I can think of is this. I have mixed feelings. I think OK Wolf, like Wolfgang and myself, kind of discussed this a little bit, and this isn't super ideal. There are some fixes coming down the pipeline that is going to I think fix that, and those fixes would look something like so you get like your state actions and like global state, global actions. I think that's the proposed change, and then I could just do global actions.go, and I don't need to pass it around. However, that's not what we're going to do this time around, and I don't think I need actions either. So we'll go back to just state. Cool, and this is going to be a go. And then on our key press. Oh yeah, that's actually going to be trickier than I thought. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to go to the other solution that I discussed with Wolfgang, which is putting go in here. So we're just going to do an empty function for now, and when we do a create, we will do a return go. And then over here, we'll just pass go along, and we need to also bring go in. Cool, so now I can maybe press enter on one of these. Okay, so go isn't defined. Yeah, that makes sense because I still haven't actually wired it up properly. This will be state.go. So we can go down to credits. State.go is not a function. Dun 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 dun. Oh, okay, we're not passing go in there, but we are now. Alright, so press enter there. State.go is not a function. So, oh, that's because that was scores. Totally not the right place. This, however, is. Alright. Cool. And we can do the I give up. And go down credits. That does the right thing. Cool. Not too bad. Not too bad. Then play audio, so like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with that yet, but let's close that. And there's going to be a few things we want to do. So I think we definitely want on focus here. And we also want a set active menu index, which is going to take an index And in fact, it's going to take an active menu index and just inject that in there. So we don't care about the event. What we do care about is actions set active menu index and pass in the index that we get in our loop. Nice and easy. So now if I tab on to stuff, it does the right thing. So that's not too bad. And I think we also want a on mouse over. Where's it? On mouse enter, on mouse hover. Let's go with hover, or sorry, with over for right now, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I have a suspicion. Let's just, we'll bring back debug. Let's just, oh, yeah, I have this problem with adding only 2 dots instead of 3. I don't have a good reason for it. Alright, so, okay, that's only happening once. I wasn't sure if that was going to be a problem. And then if we do that, and then hover again, oh, I see, because that sort of makes sense. Which I guess this could be like, but on mouse move work for this. So this will spam quite a bit. But then the nice thing is, if I tab off and move it, once I get back on the page, I guess. Alright, so that's kind of spammy, but it does work. And I'm just going to keep debug in here for now. Like I'm going to remove the call here, but keep the function because I've used that already twice. Cool. Yeah, so nice and spammy, but I don't think that's going to cause any issue for hyperapp, which is just going to see that we're like still in the same state. It's not going to do anything. Cool. So I think that takes care of basically this menu system. So let's go back and let's make this look a little better. Like we can totally do better, right? Pretty sure we can. Alright, so one thing we want to do is on focus, let's get rid of outline, because we already do get some visual feedback. Cool. And I think we can do a will change background color. And we could also do a default background color. Which I think is going to be white. And sure, we'll keep this for now, and then do a transition background color. Third of a second, I think is pretty sane, and ease in. Yeah, is it ease in out? I think it's ease in and out. Let's we'll assume it is, and then if I'm wrong, which as we've seen does happen frequently. Hey, cool. And this seems like maybe it just needs to be something that's like off-white. So I don't know, like all A's, which is like a gray shade. but it's still pretty light. Okay, so that looks pretty awful. But let's roll with it. You know, why not? Hey, also another cosmetic change I want to do to generally the layout is I think the audio button is in a pretty horrible spot. That maybe belongs down here, which I'm gonna wrap in a div for now under the guise that I'm probably gonna do some changes to it. And also, I don't think I needed my keys. That was a hack fix. Cool. So now if I go up here and tab through, that's not too bad. That's, I think, livable. And so maybe we can look at what my clock colors are. So we got like red and black. So maybe we can do something with red and black here. Okay, so designers are gonna hate me. I'm gonna hate me too. But let's do a. We'll change that and also color. And let's do a. I don't know. Something like this. I'm so sorry. This is gonna look really awful. Let's do also color 3 seconds, ease in out. Alright, so here I think we need to do something like home menu, item, link, and then we need to actually set the color there. And then do a color, which is going to be, I guess this will be just black. I don't know, this is getting maybe worse. Alright, and this will be a, actually let's move this down here, we'll change color. Oh yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Our font's pretty awful. That's going to be maybe part of a completely separate thing though. But cool, so now we got some menus. I think we could use a sound effect there, so maybe we'll bring in a new sound and it can tick in between those, just so there's lots of feedback to the user. And we could probably wire up some, like, I don't know, maybe some better menu handling in general, because I suspect up top here we're going to want some, like, generic menu stuff to help us navigate when we're in, like, credits and view scores. Like, both these have a back to menu, which maybe belongs up there, and maybe there's some, like, defaults that we can do for that. Cool, so we didn't actually do that much for it being like kind of a longer stream, but we brought in Stylus, which you got to watch me struggle with Webpack because sometimes I reverse loading orders. Not a big deal, right? And showed that we have working music now, which persists. So if I do play and refresh that page, keeps going. Yeah, I really wish, really wish that there was a way for me to share my audio well. I did look at some tutorials, and I think I got something, but I'm gonna have to experiment with that. But anyway, I think that's where I'm gonna end it for now. I think we started doing some styling. That's not necessarily bad. Wouldn't be bad if we had maybe some sort of like background clocks that were just like spinning, which we could do, I think, without too much trouble. Yeah, what else? I don't know. I think that's all. Cool, so thanks for joining. I know it was kind of a surprise, disjointed stream, but it was still kind of fun. So yeah, if you suffer through my rambling and me sucking, that's cool. But yeah, next week, next Saturday, it's totally gonna happen. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna get. I think we're gonna do some sound effects. I'll find some cool ones. We'll add that in there. And what else? Yeah, we'll do some more styling because now that we've got the styling set up, it's gonna be pretty smooth. I wouldn't mind finding a fix for my audio. Like the connect and disconnect is the right thing, I think, but I just want to know that it's the right thing for sure. But it seemed to be the recommended fix. So, anyway, lots of fun. So, yeah, thanks for joining, and see you next week.